Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Tuesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Super, how are you?
Good, I'm excited. We've got Tuesdays with Charlie coming your way here in a bit. That's always fun, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, well, yeah, of course.
For those of you that never heard Tuesdays with Charlie, we call her Dad, and he makes a fool of himself for a few minutes.
He doesn't. He's awesome.
It actually is kind of fun. Hey, there's a very small town in West Virginia. The name of the town is Big Ugly. That's the real name of the town.
Oh.
How would you like to be from Big Ugly, West Virginia?
No, thank you.
That's kind of a... Who would want that name? They purposely named their town Big Ugly. I don't understand why. Also, you know, we automatically perceive people who smell good as more attractive.
Well, yeah.
So if you meet somebody that smells really good, in your mind, you put them up a few notches as, oh, that's a good-looking dude.
I agree completely.
I'll tell you something that's funny. I remember a few years ago we were watching TV, and you said, when Rudy Giuliani came on, you said, I bet he smells good. And then it was funny because like 2 days later, we were talking to somebody else, and we were talking about Rudy Giuliani, and she said, I bet he smells really good. I was like, are you kidding me? I thought Heidi was the one and only on that deal. All right, got some fun stuff on the way. We're going to talk about Alexander Graham Bell. That's on the way next.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Heidi, time to learn something here. You ready?
I am always ready to learn something.
Take a listen to this. Alexander Graham Bell. What is he known for? What is he the inventor
telephone.
of? There you go. He invented the telephone. He was originally an instructor for deaf children, and he invented the telephone to help his wife and mother to hear because they were both deaf.
Really?
So he was working on a device that would basically later become a hearing aid, really. And in doing so, discovered that, hey, I can take the sound and take it over this wire. Wow, we could use that for something else, like, I don't know, calling and talking to people.
Huh.
So, but he was working on it to help people who were struggling with hearing.
Well, I learned something new.
I did too. Now, we're going to learn something even better here in a bit, because Tuesdays with Charlie, he always teaches us stuff. We've got Charlie coming up here in a little while. That's Heidi's papa. Also, coming up later this week, we got a lot of fun guests that we're going to be talking to. So we'll get to that, I guess, here in a bit. We'll tell you who's coming up. But it's going to be a fun week. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
You know it's true, Heidi, because you heard it on the radio. Of course, you could just rename the town, I suppose. The joke in Big Lake, Texas is that there is no lake. Earlier in the program, we talked about a town in West Virginia that's called Big Ugly, West Virginia. But there's a town in Texas called Big Lake, Texas. And way back when, there was a 1,000-acre lake.
Oh.
And there's a...
It dried up? It's gone?
Now it's a 1,000-acre dry lake.
Oh.
It only has water when somebody bothers to pump some in. The mayor, J.R. Dunn, wants to do just that. He wants to drill between 50 and 100 wells to feed the lake on an ongoing basis. The downside of that is it would cost about $2 million, which is way more than this little town of 3,500 people can afford. Besides, they have drinking water and irrigation problems to take care of, too, so they're going, why are we going to pump perfectly good water into this stupid little lake? One local resident said the evaporation of Big Lake, Texas, was so bad that you'd be looking at more than 1 million gallons of water every single day just to keep the water there.
Oh, yeah.
Mayor Dern is undeterred. He says, we're sitting here living in a town called Big Lake, and we don't have a lake.
Well, change the name of the town. Probably be cheaper.
Well, and that's the thing. There are people saying, you know, maybe we should just change the name of the town. But, again, the town is called Big Lake, Texas, and their Big Lake dried up. So I think they could actually kind of have fun with that. You know, they could maybe utilize that Big Lake name, even though they don't have a lake, and kind of have fun with that. You know, you have a little sense of humor.
Just change it to Big Lakeless.
Big Dry Lake, Texas. I don't know. I think, again, there's only 3,500 people in the town. They can't afford to do a whole lot, but what they could easily afford to do is, have some boats with wheels on it. We could go for a boat ride. You could go fishing down there, and it would basically be like you throw your line in, and there's a kid down there that hooks a fish on it for you. Always guaranteed to catch a fish. There's no water, so have fun with it. Hey, coming up, we've got some fun things to share. This is Your Brain on Drugs is on the way. And this town in Texas thing is true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is Your Brain on Drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is Your Brain on Drugs. Authorities in Tennessee say a 10-year-old was driving around about 90 miles an hour when he crashed a van. Yeah, 10-year-old, 90 miles an hour. His passengers were 2 younger children as well, along with 2 adults who had been drinking and taking pills. A sheriff's office official says that they arrived on the scene to find a woman who was swallowing as many pills as she could, and a man who reported drinking at least 15 beers. Photos released by the sheriff's office show the man wearing a T-shirt that says, "Buy this dad a beer." And that was
nice.
After the crash, everybody in the van was taken to the hospital for treatment. Authorities say the children, 2 10-year-olds and a 6-year-old, are believed to be related to the adults. The children have been placed in state care. The adults are facing multiple charges.
Yeah, I would hope so.
That is crazy. So he was going almost 90 miles an hour when he crashed.
Jeepers,
so
creepers.
if you were out driving for the first time, wouldn't you try to maybe keep it slow? I guess there's no.
Who says it was the first time? These kids could have been driving these people around since he was 5.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Coming up here in a bit, we've got something that's a little better than that, but we've got Your Brain on Drugs right there. Your moment of duh is on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
If you get a letter in the mail with white powder, it might not necessarily be dangerous, but I don't know if I would test that theory. There's a company that is responsible for mail order promotion that is not necessarily turning out to be such a good thing. Millions of letters were dropped in the mail recently containing a white powder.
Oh.
Doesn't sound like a good idea, does it?
That's a bad idea.
But it's not stopping Nutricia LL Limited of Wiltshire, England. It's not drugs or poison. It's a harmless baking mix. Of course, the post office is furious, saying this is a bad idea bad taste.
How would you...
They're saying the promotion is irresponsible, outrageous, and an extremely bad taste, but they're sending out a baking mix for people to try. They're saying, hey, you should try this. It's good stuff. And they're mailing it out.
Well, okay. If they're sending out a baking mix for people to try, it's not like it's loose in the envelope. Is it in it must be in its own little sealed.
Yeah, but those things...
Well, then that's different.
When they're traveling through the conveyors and the things that happen, things get poked, and some of the stuff leaks out, and they've got powder all over the place, and they're saying you can't.
Okay, still, that's
mail
different.
This stuff.
I'm sorry, but that's different. It's not dangerous and it's not hazardous. I don't have a problem with that. I thought you meant they were sprinkling loose powder in an envelope and saying, just sending it out in the mail.
Mail another one. Yeah, I don't think that's what they're doing. But then again, I have no clue. Coming up, the scoop of the day.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. A Florida man is accused of stealing more than 4 million pounds of citrus, valued at more than $500,000. It's a lot of citrus.
That's a lot of citrus.
Officials say that Bradley Ryder agreed to three contracts to harvest local citrus groves in March of 2014, harvested oranges and grapefruit from the groves, but never paid the grove owners. So that's how he got all that fruit.
Okay.
It's not like he smuggled it out under his coat. 2 men dressed like Rick James and 70s drug dealer Youngblood Priest from Superfly robbed a bank in Indiana recently. The pair were armed with guns when they held the Indiana Members Credit Union, and they demanded money from the tellers. 2 men fled with undisclosed amounts of cash. I just thought it was funny because Heidi once had a dream about Rick James.
I had a horrible dream about Rick James.
He was chasing her around a supermarket singing Super Freak.
It was awful. They followed me home.
She's a super freak. All right. New Hampshire authorities are searching for a man who allegedly tried to steal several drills from a hardware store, only to make a chicken noise and then run away. He didn't get any drills. And then took off running. I'm saying, hey, you know what?
Wow.
If you're going to make the news, you might as well make it fun. Our financial state is pretty scary right now, and we're all watching our spending pretty closely. So what's the one thing Americans are willing to shell out for? Costumes and decorations, things to scare us even more. According to the National Retail Federation, Americans plan to spend, are you ready for this number? $6.9 billion for Halloween.
Insane.
Yeah, that's not per person. That's total, of course. But to put that number into context, the same National Retail Federation survey found Americans plan to spend $3.3 billion in 2005. It's up to $6.9 billion now. That comes out to about $72 per person.
Yeah, we are not amongst that number. They clearly didn't take us into consideration. We bring that average way down.
We're spending like $4.
Yeah, we don't really. In the past, though.
And that's just to buy a bowl of candy and sit in my own house and eat it.
Yeah. In the past, we've spent quite a bit on Halloween. But.
It has. In the U.S., in 1882, an inventor patented a propeller-driven rocking chair. The propeller supplied movement to the chair from its mount at the top of the chair's back. Legend has it the inventor, in his first demonstration of the chair, leaned back too far and got his hair caught in the propeller. Chances are they didn't move forward with it. But in 1882...
How lazy do you have to be to not even want to rock your own rocking chair?
I want a self-rocking chair. Officials at a Massachusetts cemetery have made a monumental decision: no profanity on headstones.
Well,
there have been people recently who've been putting naughty words on their headstone, this blankety blank, whatever, and they said, not in this cemetery, can't do it. So what kind of state is our country in when you have to have a rule like that?
But who would want?
I don't know.
I mean, unless the deceased person requested it and said, "This is what who would
somebody that
say
I
want to do that for my
somebody
deceased.
That was mad that they weren't in the will." I have no idea.
I mean, I could see myself saying, "I want my tombstone to say."
I don't want you to say it on the air, whatever it is. A survey of more than 7,000 U.S. mothers reveal that the average mom rates her stress level an 8.5 out of 10. What's got moms so stressed? 46% of moms say husbands are a bigger source of stress than kids.
I would agree with that.
I definitely live up
I
to
would
that.
agree with that.
All right, let's wrap things up with our strange law. Seattle, Washington is where we're heading right now. Residents there may not carry concealed weapons longer than 6 feet. How could you conceal a 6-foot weapon anyway? Seattle, Washington, it is illegal to carry a concealed weapon that is more than 6 feet long. So
I'm surprised.
There you have it.
I mean, Seattle is a pretty liberal state. I'm surprised they have concealed carry at all.
Well, Seattle's a town, not a state. So.
Sorry, Seattle. Yeah, sorry, it's a city. It's not a town. It's a city.
All right, coming up, Tuesdays with Charlie. That is on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
And it's time right now for one of my favorite things that we do here. We do a little thing every Tuesday where we pick up the phone and call my father-in-law just because we can for a little program we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
How you doing, Charlie?
Well, it's Tuesday. You got to be doing good.
Yes. It's always fun to chat with you on Tuesday. Now, we were going to meet up with you guys over the weekend, and then my little nephew got sick, and we didn't get together. So we're going to get together this weekend, hopefully, right?
Yes, we are.
Or were you just kind of hoping that we would never do that?
Well, I was kind of hoping the weather turns nasty and then we can't do it.
One and only time Dad's praying for a snowstorm.
Well, what are we going to learn about today, Charlie?
Well, this is more something for fluff.
Okay.
Okay, it's a known fact that chocolate has caffeine in it.
Yeah.
And you love chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you would have to eat more than a dozen chocolate bars to get the same amount of caffeine as you do from a cup of coffee.
She
Really?
does. She does that.
I wonder if coffee's good for you.
I think she not only eats the chocolate bars, but she makes the coffee too.
I do.
Exactly. Coffee and chocolate are nice together.
Hey, then did you know that people spend more than $7 billion a year on chocolate?
That's a lot of dough on chocolate.
And that's just me.
That's just you, yeah. The rest of them are going to fend for themselves.
Get your own chocolate.
Hey, have you ever milked a cow by hand?
I have not. I came real close to it once. I judged. No, I judged a milking contest. There was a I'm from a small town. There was a milking contest, and I got to be one of the judges on it. So
Okay, Ben, did you know how many squirts it takes to make a gallon of milk?
I'd say probably 100 squirts.
350.
Oh, wowzers.
Whoa.
Now you want to go down there and get your hands down there, don't you?
No, I don't.
Milk that cow.
Nope.
Hey, Ben, did you know, speaking of cows, you're more likely to get attacked by a cow than a shark?
Well, I suppose there's more of them. We encounter them more often than we do sharks. So.
People don't farm sharks like they do cows.
Don't be doing any of that cow tipping or anything like that either.
And I haven't ever seen anybody milk a shark. So.
Oh. Speaking of trains, which we were, almost,
Okay.
we, got to keep up here. Do you know the total contact between the train wheel and the rail is a little larger than a silver dollar?
No kidding.
That's all that's on there on a train car.
Wow.
Huh. So
Not
yeah.
very much, is it?
No, that's
it's
not.
Okay, hey, here's one last thing for you.
Okay.
And this kind of puts us to shame. Did you know a pig can run a 7-minute mile?
No kidding.
That's faster than me and you can.
Yeah. I can tell you pigs are fast. When I was a youngster, I worked on a farm, and I got to shovel the manure that pigs put out, and there were times that I had to get them out of there, and they're fast little buggers.
They can beat me in a mile.
Yeah, I'm sure they could beat me as well, because I'm not going to be running no miles.
Not running from here to the refrigerator, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's my kind of run right there. Well, I got some good questions for you here, Charlie. Great Britain was the first country to issue a postage stamp. What year did they issue this postage stamp?
1850.
Wow,
Ooh,
you're really
you were
close.
very close.
1840. So you know what? You were definitely in the neighborhood, Charlie. Are you ready for another one?
Sure.
Ellen Church was the first airline stewardess. What year was she hired?
What airline she work for?
I don't know. The one that hired the first stewardess.
The first airline to hire a stewardess.
1920.
Ooh,
You were very close again. Holy cow, you were.
1930 this time.
Yeah, you've
You
been
were
off
off
by
by-
10 both times.
Well, then I'm going to give you one more chance. This is also a number. So, again, thank you for sending these in. Olympic badminton rules say the birdie has to have exactly how many feathers, Charlie? How many feathers does it have to have?
I'm just trying to think here real quick.
First of all, there's such a thing as
25.
Olympic badminton.
Olympic badminton, yes.
25.
Ooh, you'd have almost almost enough for two. It's 14.
Ooh.
Yeah, so if to do two of them, you need 28. So you're not quite there.
Well, depends on if you're using pigeon feathers or sparrow feathers.
I'm not sure what kind of feathers they use, but it takes 14 of whatever feathers they do use.
Ah.
That sport is not televised during the Olympics.
I think it is.
I've not seen it.
Highest ratings, Olympic badminton.
I had no idea badminton was an Olympic sport. That's hilarious.
Charlie wants tickets to the Olympic badminton challenge.
You got to be pretty lonely to watch badminton.
I got nothing against badminton. All right. Charlie, it was fun to chat with you. Thank you so much for talking to us.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Yes, you will. We'll be here.
Bye, Daddy.
Okay. Bye, Flop. Bye, John.
And that's my father-in-law right there. We call him every week just because we can, with a little show we like to call Tuesdays with Charlie.
This portion of the program is brought to you by CarsForSale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at CarsForSale.com.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today,
I
John?
thought you'd never ask. It's Tuesday, the 20th day of October, and today is confusing to me. Birth of the Bab Day.
Birth of the Bab?
Birth of the Bab
I have
Day.
no idea what that means.
I was going to Google it when I saw it earlier, then I got busy, so I didn't do it, but happy birthday, Bab, I guess. Miss America Rose Day today as well.
Okay.
So it's the day that Miss America stood up. Miss
I
America
have
Rose.
no idea.
Or do you think they're talking about a flower?
I have no idea.
I don't know. So it's a confusing day. I have no clue. We got those two things going for us.
And that's it?
That's all. Otherwise, I guarantee I'd be moving forward. I've decided I'm just not going to celebrate those things today. Instead, I'm going to tell you about some things coming up. Tomorrow on the program, we're going to be visiting with Cynthia Taylor with some marketing tips for small business. On Thursday, we have Kevin Black. You might know his brother, Clint Black. He's a famous country singer. But Kevin Black has a thing called Raising a Hand. We're going to tell you about his project. It really is cool. And then Friday, Dr. Shoshana will be talking about postpartum depression. So there you go. Instead of celebrating, I figured I'd just tell you what we're going to be doing the rest of the week. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Heidi, here's something to sink your teeth into. If you're looking for a dazzling smile, maybe head to Lubbock, Texas, or maybe not, because according to a study in Men's Health magazine, Lubbock has the worst teeth of the 100 large cities in the United States.
Oh,
so if you want to have a brighter and whiter smile, the Texas city of El Paso and San Antonio and Dallas also ranked very low. On the other hand, the best teeth, who do you think has the best chompers in the land?
I have no clue.
If you were going to just think of a smiley, pearly white city, where would it be?
Anchorage, Alaska.
Let me see. Anchorage. Meep, meep. No, not on the list. But Madison, Wisconsin came in number 1.
Huh.
Number 2, Nashville. Number 3, Raleigh, North Carolina. So for those of you who live in those cities, you apparently brush your teeth very well. That's a good thing. We recently got new toothbrushes, and then a week later got new toothbrushes. Where did you get those first toothbrushes?
Well, same place I got the second ones, but
They were terrible.
The first ones were defective or
They
something.
must have
Both of our toothbrushes fell apart. I've never had that before.
I was brushing my teeth. I'm like spitting out bristles, and it's all bent over and looked like somebody
It's
used
weird
it to...
because it's the same brand that I've bought many times before, but these
I
both
don't know what was wrong
both
with
of them were
Yeah.
destroyed.
It's bad when you're brushing your teeth and you have to spit bristles in the sink. It's like, what is wrong with my
yeah, it's
toothbrush?
bizarre.
Yeah, so whatever you did there, let's not do that again. But for those of you who want to have smiley, bright teeth, according to the recent survey here, they're saying the smiliest, brightest teeth are again in Madison, Wisconsin. You can have smiley, bright teeth wherever you live. Just make sure you brush your teeth and
Go to the
do all
dentist.
stuff. And yeah, go to a dentist and let them do their thing. And coming up, we're going to talk about the speedy getaway. That's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Take a listen to this guy. Speedy getaway. Thief drives off in a $125,000 car after he convinces the dealership that he was the true owner. Got a feeling somebody lost their job. A thief in California drove away in a new $125,000 Porsche after convincing the sales staff that it was his. The real buyer, who'd waited 2 years for his special order, arrived 20 minutes later. Police are still looking for the Porsche 996 Turbo.
Oh, my
The man
gosh.
who drove it is also being looked for. They're trying to
Well,
figure
of
out where he
course.
went. They said he arrived at the dealership dressed in a gray business suit, carrying a handheld computer. According to police, Dana De La Rocha, the general manager, had just told a worker to finish washing the car. The customer who ordered it is on the way. The suspect then told the worker the Porsche was his, and he was given the keys and he drove off.
Oh my gosh.
20 minutes later, the real
Oh my gosh.
special order customer came in. He's like, "Where's my car?"
Oh my gosh.
So he clearly didn't have to sign anything. You can just jump in and drive away.
That is insane.
We don't need your ID. We just trust you.
Oh, I'm sure that
You got a gray
somebody
suit.
got canned.
You look so trustworthy. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about a dog.
Talk about having guts to
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to walk in and just
Yeah.
do that. Just say,
I'm
hey,
glad
I'm
you
here to
said
get my
guts.
car. Yeah, I know. I was going to say something else,
I
but I
know.
knew you'd chastise
Hey,
me.
coming up, we have a dog getting his day in court. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
A lawyer has been awarded, take a listen to this, $100,000 for defending a dog in court. Heidi.
Oh.
Yeah. Raymond Dowd was given the award by a trial judge after a 3-year-long court battle. Robert, the dog, had been denied his share of a will left by billionaire heiress Doris Duke. For the care of her dog, Mr. Dowd won the case and was awarded his legal fees by the judge in New York. So he made $100,000 defending a dog in court. So that's kind of cool. And it's good that the dog had somebody there to defend him. Please place your
That's ridiculous.
your right paw in this Bible and bark after me.
But if it was the wishes of the owner that he be provided for, and somebody did not honor those wishes, I'm glad somebody stood up and fought. It is very good that somebody stood up. Because it was her money.
It was. It's up to her. So I wonder what exactly was going on there. Because like I said, we don't hear the whole story here. We're just reading the bit that we get. But the dog got his day in court. Coming your way here in a bit, we're going to get a little goofy. It's on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1 plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Ugandan officials are currently looking for a hunter who pursued a gorilla, but it doesn't stop there. Once he finds the gorillas, here's what he does. He does not kill them for food or trophies. In fact, he doesn't kill them at all. A bizarre twist from the norm. He tranquilizes the gorillas, dresses them in clown... I can't even read this. Dresses them in clown outfits, and then makes his getaway. So that means he leaves.
That sounds like something I would do to pass the time if I was stuck in Uganda.
He leaves the gorillas to wander around in their clown outfits.
Oh my God, that was fantastic.
Until officials can find them, re-tranquilize them, and then remove their clown outfits. We really shouldn't laugh because I'm sure that's
fantastic.
That's probably wrong on so many levels, and I'm sure that there are people that
he's not hurting anybody.
Well, the good news is at least he's not killing these gorillas.
No, he's bringing joy and happiness into
I don't know
the
that
jungle.
he is. Do you think what is the point of this? Is he videotaping this? Is he?
I don't know.
I just think it would be really funny to be. This is in Uganda. I think it would be really funny to be on a safari. On your left, you'll see a gorilla.
Is that native habitat?
Is that what dressed like Bozo? I just can't even imagine what this somebody with a sense of humor.
I wonder where he got all the clown clothes.
I don't know. And these are
you wouldn't think clown costumes would be readily available in Uganda.
Well, these have to be pretty big clown outfits too. Gorillas are good sized critters, It's not like they're dogs. You could dress
Maybe
your dog.
Maybe it's just a wig and a red nose. And
I don't know.
That's about it.
No, it's got to be more than that because they need to re-tranquilize them to take them off. So the gorilla could just yank that off pretty easily. So.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, again, for those of you who are gorilla fans, and I love gorillas. When we go to the zoo, we love to hang out.
We stay there forever.
Yeah, I think that gorillas are just awesome to watch.
They're fascinating.
But I now, for whatever weird reason, I want to see one dressed in a clown outfit just to see what that looks like. All right, coming up, we've got some good news to end the program. That's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
We always like to end this show with something positive, don't we?
Yes, we do.
So here's what I found for today. You're going to say, we've already talked about this, but it is a completely different story.
Is it coffee?
It is.
Coffee is good for you.
Yeah. Well, listen to this one, though. Every day I find another story that reinforces the fact that I need some more coffee. Your morning coffee might do more than perk you up. I actually had to read this whole story to see. I think we already read this. I'm like, oh, wait, no, this is a different one. Okay, your morning coffee might do more than perk you up, Heidi. According to a report in WebMD, researchers there suggest it might also help protect you against melanoma. It's
We've read this.
No, we haven't. Deadliest form of skin cancer. According to findings published in January in the Journal of National Cancer Institute, coffee drinkers are less likely to suffer from malignant melanoma and their risk decreases somewhat with every cup they drink. So the more you drink, the less melanoma you should have. The study's lead author says, we found that 4 or more cups of coffee per day.
Oh, boy, that's a lot of coffee.
Was associated with about a 20% reduction of malignant melanoma. So they're saying, drink a whole lot of coffee, and you'll be bouncing off the walls. You won't have time to go out in the sun and get that melanoma. So I'm not exactly sure. You'll be too busy in the bathroom.
You'll be too busy drinking coffee to go outside.
But this is a completely different story, isn't it?
No, it's not.
It is too. It's the same findings that coffee's good for you. But it's
no, that it's. We talked about melanoma with coffee drink. Yes, we did.
I don't think so. I think the other one was something else.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it was the same thing. All I know is any opportunity for me to tell you that coffee's good, I'm going to do that. Guess what? My cup is empty. I'm going to get some. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to a Tuesday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors from those folks, and they'll bring them to your mailbox, and you can shave for so much less. It is a really good thing. It's a simple, easy way to make sure that you always look good, at least when it comes to shaving. Go onto their website for as little as $3 a month. They'll bring them right to your door. DollarShaveClub.com/radio. Heidi, how much does patience cost?
Nothing.
Take a listen to this. This is a neat story. This was emailed to me, and I always try to make sure I read these when things get emailed over. So it says, in the days when ice cream sundaes cost much less, a 10-year-old boy entered a hotel coffee shop and sat at a table. The waitress put a glass of water in front of him, and the boy says, "How much is an ice cream sundae?" 50 cents, replied the waitress. The little boy pulled his hand out of his pocket and studied the coins. How much for a dish of just plain ice cream? Some people were now waiting at a table. The waitress was a little impatient. She said, 35 cents. The little boy counted the coins again. He said, "I'll have some plain ice cream." The waitress brought the ice cream, put the bill on the table, and walked away. The boy finished his ice cream, paid the cashier, and departed. When the waitress came back over, she began wiping the table and swallowed really hard when she saw placed neatly beside the empty dish were 2 nickels and 5 pennies. He had enough for the sundae.
Oh, but he wanted to leave a tip.
Yeah, I wanted to leave a tip. How cute is that?
That is so sweet.
Losing some man points for tearing up over that. But I thought that was really neat. He was a good little boy. Good little boy. All right, coming up over here we have, what do we have? How about, I got a lot of stuff to read. I just want to find something worth reading. Because I'm saying this stuff didn't make the cut for the show. So when I'm working on stuff, I don't know. Some of the stuff that made the cut for the show.
No, I think you should have used the ice cream story in the show.
Really?
And saved the redundant coffee story for the bonus break. That's just my own personal opinion.
Hey, this bonus break is worth listening to. And no redundant stuff going to be happening here. All right, how about this? I don't know if we talked about this or not, but the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that a Christian youth group could indeed use a school facility for meetings. So what's the problem? The school was still looking for ways to stop them. Take a listen to this. A New York government school claimed that it was only trying to prevent the look of endorsing Christianity, but it looked more like it was trying to prevent Christianity in any form in the school with vengeance. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Christian youth group, the Good News Club, had the right to meet at the New York public school. But the school district was looking for ways to prevent these meetings from taking place anyway. Even though they said the Supreme Court said you could be here, they're going, well, let's come up with another reason. They went so far as to possibly cancel all groups from meeting at the school and simply just to keep this one Christian group from meeting there. The Supreme Court ruled in the Christian group's favor because the school was violating their right of free speech. The school was taking the side of separation of church and state, which is actually not in the Constitution. People are always saying separation of church and state. That's not at all what that's about. It's about the government will not create a religion. That's what that is. Anyway, they were denying their right of free speech, which is in the Constitution. Apparently, the Constitution is not being taught in this school. So
I don't think the Constitution is being taught in many schools.
It's really sad that there are a lot of things that you just kind of shake your head and say, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's try to move on to something else. How about, right down here. What if you could be fat but avoid heart disease and diabetes?
Ooh, I'm liking this.
I'm just saying, I got the first part down. Tell me more, science. They're trying to break the fat and disease link by increasingly saying inflammation is the key. So I just have to say that inflammation is the key. Inflammation is the key. Oh, no, that's what they're saying. The quest to prove a major study right now is underway, testing whether an anti-inflammatory drug, an old cheap cousin of aspirin basically, can fight type 2 diabetes spurred by obesity. An intriguing new research illustrates how those yellow globs of fat lurking under the skin and more than a storage site for extra calories. They're saying that they are a toxic neighborhood where inflammation appears to be born.
You should just not even read it. You stumble through this and you sound like a moron.
So you're saying you can tell I don't have my doctorate
I can totally tell that you are not prepared at all with that story.
Should I try that again? Should I just skip it? Where do I go from here, Heidi? It's because I haven't had my coffee, because you're telling me it's not good for me.
I've never said coffee wasn't good for you. I just said we're all aware coffee is good for you. We don't need to do those stories anymore.
Let me sum up with that story that I just mumbled through. Let me sum that up for you. If you're fat, take aspirin because it might help. Period. They actually said it wasn't aspirin. It was a cheap cousin of aspirin. So take a generic aspirin cousin. Would that be a Tylenol, or what would that be?
You might need to do a little bit of research to find out exactly what it is they're talking about.
They're just saying that the storage, of fat is where they think that these things are coming from. And they're saying, but instead of getting rid of the fat, we could just get rid of the disease. So I'm all for that.
I'm good with that.
I wouldn't mind getting rid of the fat too, but I'm just saying. All right, a struggling Austrian toy shop owner was arrested after he tried to rob a bank with one of his toy guns.
Oh, man.
The man stormed into a local bank with a stocking over his head and a gun in his paw and demanded the clerks empty their tills. But a security guard noticed the weapon was a plastic water pistol, and he asked him to hand over.
And it was lime green.
Yeah, asked him to hand over the toy to avoid an even bigger embarrassment. So that's too bad.
Yeah.
I wonder what he was doing to make that decision that, hey, the only answer is to go rob the bank.
Yeah, that's...
That's never the answer, ever. All right, authorities say they've seized late flat model TV screens and DVD players and stereos and assorted firearms and mobile phones from jail cells.
Oh, my gosh.
These were all in the National Penitentiary near Manila. The Bureau of Corrections director said he ordered the prison sweep after an upsurge in the electricity bill. So they're going, wow, we're really burning through electricity. What's going on? And they went and they found a bunch of flat screen TVs, DVD players, stereos.
Oh, man.
Assorted firearms is very concerning.
That is extreme. How? First of all, how are they getting all this stuff inside?
I don't know. This is near Manila.
Especially the firearms.
Yeah, they're smuggling stuff in. And probably cost them a carton of smokes. I'm not sure exactly what they were doing there. Well, that's going to do it for your bonus break. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. It is brought to you each and every day by the Dollar Shave Club. You can learn more about them, and I double dog dare you to sign up for their razors at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.